Yo, what's going on? This is the NOC and the NRW, the Nerds of Color, and where nerds rule the world. I am your boy, Kuya P, back again, doing reviews for this amazing Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. You know, we locked it down with WandaVision, and I'm back again with my boy, Glenn Lawrence, who levels us up with Level Up Comedy. And we got some more spectacular guests, but what the first guest out the gate, he's an upcoming guest on my show, Show Pal Show with the NOC, my man, OG Moose. What's good, Moose?
What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good?
Yes, sir, man. Cop his new album, Nothing. It's on all available streaming platforms. It's just good music, man. It's gonna make you vibe and make you smile. It made me smile. I was rocking in my car today, you know. So get that good vibes, because right now it's a lot of drama in the world, and actually I want to compare it to another DC thing going on right now. So to me, like DC Marvel, we're gonna get it. I'm throwing a little shade at DC because they had to do a whole bunch of shit. That's just kind of because I'm a Marvel stan. Anyway, let's talk about other shit. I'm already bringing up controversy. Glenn, what's good, man? How you been, man?
Man, I am doing fine. I'm happy. I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this for a long time because I've always wanted to see that Sam Wilson story play out. You know, Captain America is black. Get with it, America. That's it. I've been waiting for. Look, you see how ready I am. I got my customs and shit. I got my customs, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, hold up. Let me get there we go. Get that on the screen.
I got my customs, bro. I've been ready, yo.
Damn, son.
The custom Air Force Ones, wearing those on stage, just representing this new era. So I'm happy. And you know what? Also, I'm very excited because I used to love that buddy cop format, that Eddie Murphy 48 Hours, Lethal Weapon, you know, I'm like that was my shit. That came up on that. So I'm hyped. I'm happy to be here kicking it with two of my favorite nerds.
OG Moose, what's good, man? Why don't you tell them a little bit about Nothing before we nerd into our other shit?
Yeah, man. You know, I appreciate you having me on a future episode that will be coming out. And I'm a musician from Las Vegas. I love Marvel as well. And I'm just excited to discuss this show because like you, man, I was just looking forward to these two characters getting the full light, especially Sam, because I was a big fan of the Captain America trilogy. I love Winter Soldier. I love Civil War. The Russo brothers killed that, and I think they bring such a grounded yet expansive storyline to Marvel. So I really enjoyed episode 1. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about that.
All right, man. So before we dig into this episode, because we also have a special guest, and I want to kind of give them a little bit of time to come in here real quick. Let's get in on like this pre-stuff. One of the things I read, we right before this new phase drop, we had WandaVision, which was spectacular, and Glenn and I, kind of broke it down. Since you weren't able to, be part of that conversation at the moment, what did you think of getting into this new phase for you, OG Moose, with WandaVision? What are some of your thoughts on that?
Oh man, I love that they let off with WandaVision, because it gives us an idea of what phase 4 is about to be, obviously leading into more like Eternals, and we're getting into some mystical stuff with like the Shang-Chi and like Doctor Strange, and then obviously they kind of touched on it on the last Spider-Man, so we'll get that on there. So we're basically going into a more expanded turn. I love how WandaVision ended up playing out. I personally enjoyed how it ended. That conclusion to that series was amazing. Yeah, and now we're coming back to a little more, like I'm going to be using that word a lot, but grounded, is like back to earth. Like we're getting these two characters who are very much human, but they're dealing with some stuff that's going to be, on a global scale. So I love that we're coming back to that right before we get into more like interstellar, mystical stuff going forward to the phase 4.
Word. How about you, Glenn? What about you? What are some of your expectations for Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I didn't know how they were going to get me as excited for this next phase after what they did with Endgame. Because Endgame, that was like I don't know how they did that. How did they get everybody in there? They made it all fit. I was super hyped. The anticipation was like at a fever pitch. And all of a sudden, they got me all the way back in with WandaVision, where I'm like, yo, I can't wait for the next joint and the next villain and the, you know what I mean, to see the next storylines play out. I'm excited. I like how they've been kind of weaving in things from the comics, and they've been staying like as true to the comics as you can when you're adapting something. That's very hard. I mean, we've seen the trouble that DC has been having when they have all these great storylines and they can't adapt them to the screen to make people rock with them. They just can't figure out the formula. Marvel has figured out the formula, and it was just great to see that even though they figured out the formula, they're still able to make that recipe work after something that was such a highly anticipated event. You know what I'm saying? And now we got another one. Now we got WandaVision. It's like, damn. And then you're like, what are they going to do next? And then you see Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it's like, oh man, like there's another side to the story that they keep peeling back, that you're like, man, this just keeps going and it keeps getting better and better, and they keep doing a great job of really delving into these characters, man. Like everybody, you feel for it. Like Sam is fucking Falcon and the nigga can't get along. What? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the emotion is there. You know what I'm saying? Right. Bucky's in there trying to make amends and shit. Like the whole thing is like, you really feel for these characters. Like Marvel made me feel for a talking tree and a talking raccoon. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like how the fuck, like I would never say, yo, you know, the characters I really care about, the talking tree. You know what I'm saying? Like the raccoon that talks made me cry. Nigga, what? They've been killing. I'm sorry, I went way off a tangent, but this shit gets me hyped, man, because I get so excited because I love like what they've been doing with their storytelling.
I love it. I love it. All right, man. So I want to throw some shade at Justice League, but I think it'd probably be best we talk about.
Did you guys watch it yet?
Do comparisons,
bruh. Watch isn't the word for it. I fucking
Did you see it yet, Moose? I know Glenn.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Do you think we should
What did you guys think?
Well, hold up. Before we say that, because I was like, you know, I want to weave that in. Do you think we should?
Okay.
Because like the anticipation, right? Justice League fell on this week, and then we had two Titans, you know, as nerds. Boom, boom. Yeah. Which one were you looking forward to more?
Oh, I'm a Marvel nerd, so I was definitely looking for that. But I mean, it's just like a little bonus, you know. I think we touched on it on our future episode show coming up soon. But it's just that, you know, DC, Batman and Superman are such iconic American characters, and it just sucks that Warner Brothers just has a bunch of idiots running that ship that they keep fucking it up. You know what I'm saying? So I personally saw I was pretty excited to see it just because, like, I wanted to see another iteration of Batman. I always liked, I was a big fan of the Dark Knight series. So I'm just, you know, I just wanted to see another, I mean, and it kind of blew me, you know, that my expectations out of the water, because I had such a low bar for Snyder and all his work. So I'm kind of like, wow, this is better than I expected, you know. Yeah. But what did you guys think?
Man, so like well, let me tell you.
Should we do it now though? Should we?
Nah. We don't have to get all into it, but I'll just say this. I'll say that the moment I saw the fat bat signal, I knew Justice League was going to be trash. Like when they put out the signal and it was fat. I'm not trying to fat shame, but why you make the bat signal? What, the bat signal fat? What? That doesn't make sense. And it was like, I mean, and then after that, it just, the whole entire film kind of fell into that kind of into that little motif. It just was bloated and just didn't fit right.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of fanboys out there that liked it and they could forgive a lot of things, but I like when you see an example of it done so well with Marvel, you're like, I know this can be done well. I know there's a way to do this better. And you just don't see it in the DC stuff. So I mean, the movie was already long. I don't feel like we should go that long on it, but you know, like you said, it's like you had low expectations for it. And I will say though, there was like some scenes in the joint that was like, oh shit, like that, like they did a lot better than I thought. But I want to talk about Sam.
Yeah,
I will say this just like as an opener, because they fell on the same weekend, that I will say this, that you know, we are so spoiled as Marvel MCU fans. You know, Kevin Feige has looked out for us for almost over a decade now, just bangers after bangers. And like, you know, you see what DC fans have to deal with, and it's just like, damn, like I feel so bad for them. But I will say that for a 4-hour director's cut, which is definitely a lot of fat that they would have had to cut if it was dropped in the theaters, I was surprisingly like caught in the story. So
Yeah.
I'll give them props that I was like, wow, this, you know, it didn't by 3 hours in, I was like, wow, I'm actually, you know, tuned in. But anyway, let's talk about you know,
Right.
enough about
True.
amateur hour. Let's talk about professionals now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just you know, because we're nerds and it dropped the same week, you had to bring it up, you know. So you know, I'll just real quickly say, for me, I had low expectations as well, like my man Moose. I still have a bias, as you can see, towards Marvel, you know, but I want them to do well because I do love DC.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just, you know, they needed a Kevin Feige to help them build it up right. And just so out the gate, because they rushed it. To me, you know, it's still the same film, but slightly better, you know, longer. It's true to the original director's vision. We do have more Cyborg. I love Cyborg, so I do like that. So it's night and day with the original Justice League in regards to Cyborg's story. So I'm happy that Ray Fisher, especially with all the issues that he had with everything that went down with Justice League, I'm happy that he got a vindication with this release. So to just see how well he was in it. So shout out to my man Ray Fisher. But to me, it's still not that great of a film. It's a better version than the original Joan, but you know. So anyway, you're gonna make comparisons when you drop it at the same time as an MCU project. You know what I'm saying?
I was like the action was much better in Justice League.
Oh yeah,
like,
and the shot
action
selection
was like, oh, this shit. Okay, this like, why didn't they put that in there? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, why'd they take that out? That was fucking dope.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say is
1,000 times better. You know.
Yeah, and I'll say that I mean, they have the, you know, the benefit of having it on like a streaming service like HBO, but like, man, could you imagine an MCU rated R feature? Like they was chopping
like
heads off.
More Deadpool type shit.
Yeah. You know, it doesn't have to be every next Avengers or every big Marvel movie, but like, man, like, you know, I don't know if they can pull it off on Disney Plus, but I mean, just it was pretty cool to see, like, you know, comic book characters cussing like they would and just getting heads chopped off like if people are fighting with axes and swords, like, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. People was getting heads chopped off for real and like showing blood. So I was kind of like, wow, this I see a universe in the future where more you know, comic book movies and features are like, you know, 3 to 4 hours, like how they're doing 6 hour Marvel shows now. You know, a future where it's like a 4, 5, 6 hour show where they can actually tell the story and just it's R-rated. Like, I love that. That's tight. You know what I mean? But you know, like, done by professionals, obviously. Let's enough about amateur hour. Let's talk about the real shit now. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get real, bro.
Yeah.
Let's get
Don't mean to throw shade, but hey, you're gonna
no shade.
When they put it out during our week, man, I'm sorry. As a Marvel stan, come on now. All right. So Glenn, why don't you kick us off, man? Break us down. I'm glad you can finally talk about it, because like I get, you know, I'm spoiled that I get to see it early, and like I want to talk to you about it. I was fucking with Glenn earlier this week. A little bit. I was like, that opening scene, bro. That opening scene. And he was like, shut up, man. Shut up, man. But go ahead, brother.
Hey, but peep it. Like, Patrick was like, yeah, or Kuya P was like, yo, the opening scene. I was like, nigga, the opening scene was him ironing his shirt. What are you talking about? Like, like, you love that domestic shit? No, I'm just but that's but I was
continuing on from Endgame though.
No, I know. But I love the continuation. But this is an example of how good Marvel is. Like, after all that fantastical stuff that you saw with Endgame or whatever, WandaVision, the big finale and everything, and then you start Falcon and Winter Soldier off, and you start it with the dude ironing his shirt. He's doing just regular dude shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ironing his shirt, putting his jacket on. You get to see how, like, normal of a person Sam is, despite the fact that he goes out and he's like hobnobbing with these you know, superheroes. And I feel like that right there is kind of like an indication of how well they craft stories and how you get into it. And it's something as simple as Sam ironing his shirt and putting it on. But anyways, from there we get to see Sam, and we see that he's taken up the promotional aspect of being Captain America, where he's got to go out and talk to the people, and there's this big ceremony. And the big thing from that is he's actually not taking up the Captain America joint. He's like he's kicking back. He's donating the shield to the Smithsonian. We also get to see Rhodey there, which makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? So we get to see War Machine and him have a little dialogue, and he asks him like, "Yo, bro," I thought it was dope that we get to see him with Rhodey. But the thing that I thought was really cool, and it's just like a small thing. He's like, "Hey, brother," and just hearing that in like a big Hollywood movie is just like, I don't know. It seemed like a small thing, but it was a lot. So, I mean, that opening part of him like going to Smithsonian, donating back, and really talking about how there's symbols, but then there's people behind those symbols, and you really got to make sure that the people behind those symbols are good, because they're what give the symbols meaning. So the whole first little part right there, it drew me in because it's all emotional or whatever. What you guys think about how we opened it up?
Yeah, go ahead, Moose. I wanted to pause there because what y'all think about donating the shield and not keeping the shield?
I want to touch on what Glenn said about like even just as simple as ironing a shirt. Like I said earlier, the word grounded is them bringing these interstellar giant beings who fought, like aliens and stuff. Like him just even getting like alone, like them, or we'll talk about that later with them talking about getting alone. Like these are regular human beings that have to fight for bigger, larger things. So I think it's really dope, like you said, great story building of Marvel to touch on such normal things like that. Now going back to the shield, like I had that expectation of him giving the shield up because of how hesitant he was about it. But I mean, we'll see later on, obviously, that he'll get the shield back because he's throwing it around in the trailers. But right. Yeah, I loved how they ended up kind of like having this Rhodey Sam relationship, because if you guys remember from Infinity War, the first person that Rhodey was looking for was Sam. When Sam ended up like disappearing, he was screaming, he blipped. Yeah, he was screaming for Sam's name. And so they had built this rapport of two military people, two African Americans within this community that's very predominantly white. So I'm assuming like they'll touch on more racial stuff in this series. I know they're going to be discussing like who's touching in more into that, like the Black Captain America storyline that they had back in the comic books. If they do end up touching on that storyline, I think it'll be dope. But yeah, I think that's a really dope relationship of them stringing two really great side characters into the forefront, Rhodey and Falcon.
So for me, man, one of the things I was really geeking on is the fact that we got Rhodey, because I think that I don't really remember hearing that Rhodey was going to be in this joint. So I was like, what? We just the representation was real, and just I love my man Don Cheadle. So to see him in this, I'm hoping this just isn't a bit, like he'll be reoccurring throughout. So that was tight, and just everything was beautiful, man. In that moment, and I
think Rhodey's getting a show, right? Rhodey's getting a show too, right?
I don't know if I heard that.
Armor Wars, I believe.
Oh yeah. Okay, I do know that. Yeah. So that's right, because I didn't even think about that, because this was at the time we still had I think RDJ this was during Endgame when they were announcing that schedule, right? So we didn't.
Yeah, it was like that Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't think.
But yeah, man, there's gonna be a lot of stuff.
Shit then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
They gotta have Don Cheadle, man. Don Cheadle's an amazing actor, man. They gotta have a show led by him.
Yeah, I didn't think about it because we didn't have. Tony's dead, and they are having. Bruh, you just blew my mind. Like we're gonna get a full blown Don Cheadle Armor Wars joint. So like I'm excited now.
Sir.
Go ahead, Glenn. Bring us back in with what's going on, man.
So I mean, after having something so grounded in terms of like that first scene, then they give us exactly what the fuck we wanted. Pardon my French, Disney, but you give us exactly what the fuck we wanted. Pardon my French, Marvel.
And that's what I really meant, though, by the way, in the opening scene. So I apologize, Glenn. Man, that third scene, bro. That third scene.
That third scene. Now I know what you're talking about though, because it grounds you and then it takes you to exactly what you want to see. And I think another thing that Marvel does great, and it's shown here, is throwbacks to old movies. So like it's a throwback to like that first Captain America where they're preparing on the thing and it's like, oh, and he just jumps out of the plane or whatever, and then goes in there. So it's like a throwback to that Winter Soldier thing, but he jumps out and goes ham. Like the way he's using the wings, the way he's flipping effortlessly, he's weaving in and out of helicopters. The helicopter blades are spinning. They spinning, and he just is like and flipping through them. And the way he's like weaving and like almost effortlessly like dealing with explosions and missiles and everything, but still able to like fly around them, using the wings in ways that we haven't seen before, using them as a shield, using them as like a blocker, sometimes like using them offensively and everything. Like we get to see how dope and how skilled he is at flying and doing what he does, because I mean we've seen Falcon a little bit in some of the movies, but we haven't seen him go like full ham, like a full action scene with just Falcon, and we get to see it, and it's amazing. It's everything you think. I think that Marvel is able to get some of the best stunt coordinators in the business, and you've seen that in like Winter Soldier and all the other movies. Their stunt coordinators, they're always coming out with something different. You know what I'm saying? Like that I hadn't seen before. Like when he was on the when he's on the plane and he used a little jetpack to give him a little boost. For the joint. Yeah, I was like, this joint is fire. But we get to see that scene, and we get to see also through the scene like his connection with how he's become like a contractor, and he's like going on these missions to help make a little bit of money. And we get to see that dynamic. Like, okay, he's kind of an off the books character off the books person, contractor who's out here to do like covert missions or whatever behind enemy lines, places where he can't go. So we get to see a little bit of that in the dynamic or whatever of how Falcon has been integrated into this new kind of world. And we also get a nice little sidekick, you know what I'm saying? And here's the other thing that I love about Marvel. Every time you see a character and then that character gets like a speaking line, they interact, you're like, oh, wait, who's he going to be? Who's that going? Because it's like somewhere down the line, like maybe not this phase, but somewhere down the line, a lot of these characters end up coming back and you're like, oh, shit, I didn't realize he was going to be in the next joint. So that was exciting to see. That
talking about Torres?
Yeah, exactly. So that action scene it kind of blew my mind, and I'm fully invested again. You got me with the connection, emotional connection. You showed them ironing, and then you showed them ironing out some fucking kicks and punches and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fire, Brad. What y'all think?
Yeah, go ahead, Moose. Go ahead.
Oh man, I love, like you said, like the new stunt coordinators that they are able to utilize. They always bring something new to the table with the action scenes. I love that we're actually getting to see how Falcon operates as far as like using his equipment, because I think the first time I ever really saw Red Wing was during the Civil War, right? During that first sequence right? So we don't really know how he uses it, like how he used the thrusters to knock dude's head in the plane. Like he used the thruster just to get a little speed. I was like, dude, this is really like juicy stuff that they're using to like really show like his skill set, and how, with his new exoskeleton, I'm sure it's like an upgraded version that he had from I think this is about 6 months, how the timeline is that this is about 6 months after Endgame. So like, he got a new exoskeleton, and it's, he like you said, he was working on it in the tea shop after that scene. So him and Torres having that conversation. And I Googled this earlier, that, who is this Torres guy? Does he have any comic book characters? and apparently he is one of his sidekicks from the Falcon comic books. And in the comic books, he's tied into as the next. He takes the mantle of Falcon when Sam ends up going becoming super Captain America. So basically, like Torres has some implications in the future down the line. Hopefully, him being a character. But yeah, I think that fight scene was amazing. We're getting like like big Hollywood style like action sequence. Like if they shot that maybe with some drone footage or whatever, just like how they're showing, like it looks like a Grand Canyon style mountains, and like we're getting like some real crazy action sequences. Like they did a superb job giving that. And mind you, we're spoiled, right? We're seeing this on a Disney Plus streaming service. Like this is the budget that they spent on this series is the shit that we see for a feature in theaters. So we're really spoiled. They're really spoiling us with such a crazy action sequence about 5 minutes into the show. So yeah, that was an amazing sequence for real.
Yo, I tell it. Yeah, for real. And bruh, as you were talking too, I was looking up Joaquin Torres, man. I totally missed out on that. I must have stopped reading at this point. Yeah, he was a straight up Falcon for a minute. Like you said.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said. Now, I want to go back and read these comic books with this character. So like they got me buying comic books off this shit. Like the Torres cat now, bro. Like
Marvel knows.
Love that fucking Marvel does, bro. And what you were saying, Glenn, like they introduce these characters and you want to check on shit. Like, and so boom, from there I was like, searching it. I gotta pick up these comic books. Motherfucker was a member of the Champions and shit. Like, what? I gotta read the shit. So anyway, I'm just geeking over here, man. That's why I love this shit. One of my favorite elements in that scene, and why I was like, yo, Glenn, man, that scene, bro, because it was just like you both said, man, it was just beautiful. But my favorite part was Red Wing. As an old school Falcon fan, man, he had the pet Falcon in the comic book and everything. But in this, he's kind of, he's a cyber thing. It's not a real bird. But that shit, how it took down and the way it was controlling it, and I guess it had like its own, I don't know, like its own. Well, it was built by Tony, right? Didn't Tony build his whole?
It's a Stark Tech, yes.
Yeah, Stark Tech. I don't know if he built it, but it's Stark Tech.
So yeah, so it's. I'm assuming it doesn't talk back, but it has like its own sentience in a way, because he was like, "Yo, go this way."
He talks to it. Yeah, he's like artificial intelligence talking to it. Like he'll instruct it to do this, and then it comes back to his back. That scene where he comes back to his jetpack. I was like, "Yo, Red Wing is tight." Okay.
Yeah. Hey, yo, real quick, I'm gonna pause because we got more of our special guests coming in. Let me bring them in because they don't know what's going on. We've already started talking, but they know what's good. From Top Back Podcast, I got my man Matt and Michael from Top Back. I think Matt's coming in right now. What's up, Mike?
What's up, Kuya P? What's up? How you guys doing?
How's it going? How's it going, man? How's it going?
We'll introduce everybody once again. Oh, I think Matt dropped out. I think we'll let Matt in a sec.
Probably Matt was logging in through his girlfriend's account.
No worries. We was getting into the third scene with the whole battle in like the Grand Canyon type of area, even though it wasn't Grand Canyon. It was like, it's in the Afghanistan.
It said, whatever, it was like Tunisia or Libya or wherever it was.
Yeah.
That scene was. Oh, well, thanks for having us on. Matt's about to join us. That scene was like one of my favorite scenes because, like, I don't know if you guys saw like Independence Day.
Right.
The canyon.
That's that's a tie-in there because like it's kind of like homage to that. I was gonna bring up like Top Gun, but yeah, that is a closer homage that they did to like the desert scene in Independence Day. Good call there. Good call.
Yeah.
So we just talking about that scene and what was our favorite moments within that particular part, man. And for me, Red Wing. I love the comic version of the real bird joint, but here we got Stark Tech with its own like sentience Red Wing, and just how he was just doing it, staying with it was just as a nerd comic fan, man, that was just dope. And then we got GSP, aka Batrock, playing the character Batrock from the comic. Great to see him back because it's fucking GSP, son. Like,
right?
Yeah. And to have them fight, was dope in the plane and all that shit. To finally,
and he survived.
Exactly,
so he's coming back. Coming back
because we saw Cap battle. It was just a great time because we saw Cap battle, my man. Now we get to see Falcon battle my man. It's bruh, I was just loving it. So Matt's getting ready to come in, but Mike, I'll throw it to you. And we'll bring Matt come in real quick. Chopping him up. He coming in. But yeah, just we're breaking down that scene right now, giving our thoughts. Here we go. Matt from Top Back. What's good, bro?
What's up, brother?
All right, cool. Well, we'll do a real quick introduction so everybody knows who's who. Kuya P with the NOC NRW Show Pal Show. Great to have y'all on, man. I got my partner Glenn, man. Go tell him who you is, man.
Glenn Lawrence, man, Level Up Comedy, stand-up comedian, funny guy extraordinaire, and Marvel nerd.
Yeah. OG Moose, what's good?
What's good, man? My name is Moose. I'm a musician from Las Vegas, and met Kuya P through the Show Pal Show, and I'm excited to nerd out over Marvel with y'all.
All right, Top Back, man. Tell them about yourselves, man.
Yeah, Matt, you want to start?
Yeah. I'm Matt Legaspi. I'm one half of the Top Back podcast. We're from San Francisco Bay Area.
Yep. And I'm Mike. I'm Matt's partner. We just excited. Nerds of Color. We were following you guys when we started. I was like, oh shit, like this is a podcast we can follow and learn from and collaborate at some point. And like we're approaching a year into when we started. And how we started was being fans of Marvel, so it's dope.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why we started in the first place.
Hell yeah, man! Yo, nerds, man. We all fam, and we Pinoys too. Kabayan, man. Mad respect.
Yeah.
Mad love for y'all, man. Whatever y'all need, man, we got you, man. We all, that's how we roll, son. So
I don't know what that means, but if y'all can make me an honorary brother.
Glenn's an honorary brother. You get love, bro. You get love.
Yes, sir.
So, Glenn, you gotta have a middle name too. You gotta be like Glenn Chris or Chris Glenn.
Hey, whatever y'all is Glenn Lawrence, whatever y'all want to put in the middle there, man.
He's Glenn. He's Glenn.
There you go.
Glenn, because that's what us Pinoys do, man. We give nicknames, bro. So you gonna be Glenn.
I'm with it.
Hey, so bro, we breaking down Falcon and the Winter Soldier, man. We're on scene 3, talking about that dynamic fight, through Tunisia or wherever there was at. But just the dopeness with Bat Rock up in that bitch, GSP. What are y'all's thoughts, man? Mike, I'll throw it to you, man, about that particular scene.
Yeah, I mean, me and Matt, we were reviewing WandaVision. I know you guys talked about WandaVision too. And then just that opening scene was action and hard hitting. My Wi-Fi was down yesterday, so I had to watch on my phone. But then hearing GSP kick, I was like, oh shit, like this fool is really kicking these guys. Like, and that was a shift from the WandaVision, like the trippy stuff. The action was like much needed after this long Marvel wait. I know that's what Matt was looking for.
Right. So I've been a pretty big GSP fan since UFC. So it was nice. I was surprised to see him back because he was in Winter Soldier, right?
Yeah.
It was really nice to see him back, still kicking ass at his age. And I was really surprised with the choreography too. Falcon whooped some ass, bro. I've never seen Falcon do anything similar to any of those action scenes in the past. So that was really refreshing.
Yeah, it was about time they gave us real Falcon shit. That was fucking dope as fuck, man. So,
right.
Yeah,
a lot of people make fun of Falcon too.
Before we continue on with the rest of the series, man, since y'all just jumped in, what's your biggest expectation for Falcon Winter Soldier going into this before we continue with the rest of our convo on episode 1? What are you looking for in Falcon and Winter Soldier as Marvel stands?
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing this being like a buddy cop film, where Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, looking at their interviews, they got tons of chemistry, and I want to see that more in the films because you know how they always capping on each other, talking shit to each other in Civil War, but now I think because in this first episode we didn't even see them interact at all, so I'm really looking forward to them bouncing off each other. And I told Matt before I want to see Bucky encourage Sam to be that Captain America, and that's what we saw in this episode. He's not trying to take up the mantle, so I'm looking forward to that relationship build.
Right, I'm pretty much in agreement with Mike too. Just like WandaVision, it's nice to see the side characters get some shine now. So we start to see with this episode particularly, we got to see Sam's backstory and like where he came from. I didn't even know he's from New Orleans, so that was pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to see their characters flesh out a little bit more.
Word. Okay, Glenn. So we're going to talk on it because I think the next scene is where we start to build the characters. So Glenn, I'm gonna bring it to you, man. Take us through.
So that's where so we y'all missed out on the fight scene. So I apologize that y'all didn't get to nerd out like as fully as we just got to nerd out on it, because that joint was so fire. But after that, you get to see a little bit more Sam or whatever, where he's repairing Red Wing after the fight, and you get to see like, oh, like I love how they always have characters. It's like not only can this character kick ass, they're actually intelligent. They know engineering skills, you know what I'm saying? They can put stuff together. So you get to see that. Plus you get to see like his interaction with Torres or whatever, and Torres is kind of geeking out. And the other thing you get to see is like people, how they react. It's like, oh shit, you brought my daughter back, you brought my wife back, you know, like I love you, thank you, or whatever. So we get to see like kind of the world as it's been put back together, and how people are kind of thankful for, you know, all the heroes who like saved them. But also in that moment we get to see Torres talking a little bit about who the villain of this series presumably is going to be, and that's a group called the Flag Smashers or whatever. But the thing that Marvel also does is they get to show you why someone is a villain, and they don't necessarily make them like just bad for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm just evil to be evil. Like Sam says it. He's just like, anytime something gets good for one person, is bad for somebody else. You know what I mean? When he's trying to explain what's going on with the Flag Smashers, which I think is great, because now in this day and age, everything is like, oh, vilified. And you don't get to, and they don't necessarily tell you the story of like, well, why are they villains or whatever. But I think we're going to get to see it and see why. And it sounds like Sam has like a little bit of that understanding, but even in that understanding, the way you go about things is what will define you. And we get to see a little bit of that with that scene between him and Torres. I like the interaction. I want to see where that one goes a little bit. You guys want to jump in? Because the next scene is where I think he goes to the Smithsonian and starts talking to Rhodey again. I got ahead of myself. But I mean, I don't know. What did y'all think about that? Them introducing like the Flag Smashers into like the story at this point.
For me, I think it's cool, man. I like it's kind of underground, gritty, like homegrown, rooted, like, you know, rebellious kind of cat, you know, like coming up. I thought it was dope, and I've seen some things on the internet and some speculations, man. But I'm curious how that's all going to fan out, and in regards to that. So I'm just geeked for more, and I'm like trying to, you know, like us nerds do, doing research. What Flag Smashers? Let me check in my comic books. Let me do some searches on the internet. Yeah. You know, where are they pulling this from? Because I have speculations, but I don't know yet. But I don't want to put it out there. So that I thought it was pretty dope. I like that it's kind of grounded and rooted and going to be homegrown, and we're going to get some other, you know, pieces of it. What about you, Moose?
Yeah, you know, we're going to see like a very like an anti-hero, like terrorist movement situation, as they touch on later with the bank scene. We'll talk about that later. But you know, you're seeing this group that we'll see how the implications of what they're fighting for is going to be what how it contends with Falcon, Winter, and you know, Sam and Bucky. Then you got the whole idea that after the blip, like all these things are starting to, like, we're starting to see like the implications from the blip. So in WandaVision, we saw how Monica Rambeau came back, and then now you're dealing with, like, you know, I'm getting ahead of myself too talking about this, but like, you know, the whole loan situation that they were trying to get later on in the episode. You know, you're starting to see how like all these superhero things that we see on screen start to go back to how humans deal with it, especially after the blip. So, you know, like I did enjoy how that scene was kind of like it was like a nice explainer of what we should expect the villain role of this scene is. But I was looking into some stuff about, like, you know, how they could introduce some type of either like a mutant or like a super soldier situation with these guys because those Flag Smashers dudes was kicking ass. Like they was the homie
They
kicked
gotta
dude
be
and he
super
like
powered.
flew. Yeah, right. These guys are like, you know, so yeah, we'll see how that type of implication is brought into this storyline moving forward too, because we're going to be seeing a lot going forward with this Flag Smashers. Yeah.
Oh, sorry to interject, but one thing that I forgot to say is how the Flag Smashers are, and it goes to like our day and time right now. There are people who thought life was dope when the blip happened, and I feel like that goes to our day now because there's some people who are kind of feeling it during Corona. They're like, "Yo, this shit is kind of lit," like you know what I'm saying, like not having to work and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? So some people are like, it's hard to see like, why do we got to go back to what it was like? Like, nah, and I think we're going to speak to that. So it's a cool way for them to speak to the time. Sorry to interject. I just had to throw that back in there because that was a major.
That's an important part, though. That's an important part, though, because you kind of start to see the parallels between what Marvel is trying to touch on about our what's going on in real life. And it's kind of crazy they were able to tie it in something that, is happening. They probably was working on this for years now. And then now it's actually whatever they're talking about is actually happening in the real world,
Yeah.
So what about you guys? Top back, Matt, Michael. That's good.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like with I think it's the LAF where GSP is involved with. Then you have the Flag Smashers, and then now I'm thinking like, how does Baron Zemo fit in all this?
Yeah,
because I think he was a big part of the marketing. And the last time we saw him in Civil War, he basically his last scene was like, I'm just getting started. So I want to see. I can't wait for him to don his purple mask, have that like comic book feel look. And I wonder, he might be the guy spearheading this whole tearing down this new world order. The episode was called New World Order, I think, too, right?
Yeah.
Which
NWO.
is crazy.
Yeah, I was like, at first I was like, is this a Hulk Hogan episode? I was like, wrestling over here. But I don't know, it's interesting. Art imitates life. There's a lot of like references, like the next couple of scenes. There are some like shit that's happening in that scene is like happening in the real world right now.
Yeah.
So,
did we get the acronym when because I caught that they were LAF or whatever. Do we know what that acronym is yet? As a nerd stand, I don't remember hearing that before. Like like Flag Smashers. As we've been talking, Flag Smasher was a character, but they've kind of made it into a team for this series.
I don't know what it stood for.
Yeah, I'm.
Is the LAF like they
nerd digging that we're gonna do?
They were the group that GSP is a part of, like Batroc is a part of.
Yeah, that's who they were.
Were they the same group that was that took over the ship during Winter Soldier? Was that maybe the same group?
But
I don't think so. I think that dude's just a mercenary.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we gotta do some nerd digging. You said you thought it was?
I thought that was Hydra that took
over.
I
thought it was Hydra. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So who is this LAF? And then obviously we have the Flag Smashers. And if we do your comic research, Flag Smasher was a villain, but now it looks like they're interpreting it into a terrorist group. So now I'm just nerd digging, nerd check. Yeah. I got to look into LAF. But my bad. Yeah. Go ahead, Matt. Mike.
Speaking of
Michael,
Hydra,
talk, Matt.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, guys. Because I was going to get into the next scene where we finally get to see Bucky.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about the Flags when they first arrived, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't read any theories or anything about the character. I didn't even know about the the organization at all. But the dude that whooped Taurus's ass definitely resembled Bucky when he was manipulated by Hydra. So I have a strong feeling that he was probably one of the super soldiers that they're in like Civil War when Captain America and Iron Man went back to the base. I have a feeling they might be one of them or some resemblance to that for sure. But yeah, I like the way they're organized too, though. When it came out the bank with the money, and then everybody was scrambling all over the place, and then the bag was going here and there. It's like these are really like well executed plans they got. So I'm curious what they're gonna do in the future.
Yeah. Gangster. All right, Glenn.
Yeah. So yeah, like the part where we get reintroduced to Bucky is dope. He's like, first we see, you know, they're in like some building or whatever. Bucky punches through a wall, which is always dope to see him use that metal arm to full effect. Punches through a wall, starts wrecking people. And you know, it's the same old Bucky, bam, punching, hitting, knocking people out, knocking them clear across the way. And then we get to see him like basically take out a dude, which again is like kind of that sad, tragic part of Bucky's character, where it's this dude who's like, I didn't see anything, I'm scared. And you get to see how like kind of afraid that dude is, and then he still is just like, well, sorry, you gotta go, like this is the mission. And then we get to see that it's just a flashback and he's having like nightmares. And then I think we get one of the best like kind of subtle scenes where we get him sitting with a therapist, you know what I'm saying, where the therapist is like going over things, and they go to that like Seinfeld thing where it's like, what are you writing in a notebook? Like, all right, like it's, but the cool thing about the scene is like you have this big super soldier, right? Not scared of anything. He's fought aliens and fought everything, but he's sitting down with the therapist, and the therapist is like, how would you get this person to tell you something that they don't want to? And it's just something as simple as writing down a notebook. It's like, like, all right, cool. So it's like that play on it. Like they do a great job of having like conflict within the scene. So the therapist and him are going back and forth, and you get to see also that the therapist has like a little backstory. It's like these little things that make the shit fire, you know what I'm saying? Like the therapist is like, nah, I was a soldier too, and we just, you know, we gotta get through it. So I know what you're going through, but we get to see that Bucky's been having these dreams, and he doesn't want to talk about it, but he's kind of opening up and going through therapy, trying to fix the fact that he has all this remorse for everything that he's done. I don't know, I just thought that's a great way to reintroduce the trauma that Bucky has, like we've seen the trauma in all these other characters.
I think that scene was excellent too, because you know how he had like, when he was a Winter Soldier, he had a hit list, but now he has like amendment list.
Yeah.
And you know, like that scene when he talked about the lady that in the car, that was like a parallel to Civil War when it was revealed that he like killed Stark's parents.
Right.
So like that whole thing was a parallel of his like growth of like, I'm not doing this Winter Soldier shit no more. I'm saving the day, but I'm doing it right.
Right.
Just to add to you, see both of y'all. I love the fact that Bucky has PTSD, because he is from like 100 years ago. So yeah, for him and Chris Evans, like imagine trying to acclimate to this new world and being a soldier all your life. You can't really like shift into a normal life anymore. You really have to kind of force yourself to do it. That's why when he was talking to the therapist, I really loved the interaction. She was saying like, you don't call anybody, you call me. That's all you.
Yeah.
I'm the only person you call on your phone. Like you have no friends. Like you need a life. So I really love that.
Yo, can y'all imagine? Because like y'all was saying, like Bucky's like 100-something years old, and back then everybody was old fashioned. Can you imagine Bucky hearing WAP for the first time? Be like, what? like back in the day, they were like doing the jitterbug shit. You know what I'm saying? And now they talk about wet ass pussy on the radio. You just like.
And Bucky was like the dude that was getting the girls, and like back in the day.
Right.
Showing his boy how to do it, Steve. But now it's like, shit, I ain't done this in like 70 years.
Right.
I want to talk to a girl again.
And I love that scene too in the restaurant with who was the old Japanese man? You guys remember his name?
Oh shit.
Yori.
Yeah.
Nori?
Yeah.
Yori, I believe.
Yori.
Yeah.
I love the fact that he knew that Bucky was interested in her, but he's the one that pretty much initiated, like, he wants to go on the date. And he was like, dude, I was leading up to it. I was gonna get there,
wingman right there.
Wingman. But I love that character interaction too, that it was revealed that he killed it was a son.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That part actually that hit me a little bit. Like he has so much guilt built up that he can't find it in himself to reveal to him that he killed him, but he's trying to be friends with him and kind of fill that void he's been having his whole life. It was really great.
Yeah, I mean, you get to see that Bucky, like, because you wonder, like, why is he buddy with this guy all of a sudden or whatever, right? And then as the story's going on and he starts talking about it, you like it. The funny thing to me is like, like I recognized it once he started talking about his son died and it felt weird. I was like, oh, Bucky killed him, didn't he? Didn't he? And then you finally see like the picture of his son and you're like, yep, I fucking knew it. Yeah, I fucking knew it, dude. I don't know. It's just super tragic, but I don't know. It was I love what the fuck they do with this shit. It's onions, dude, and it starts peeling or whatever.
Layers, son.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Moose, what'd you think, man, with all that?
Just tying it back to the scene is like him dealing with all the guilt that he has gone through, right? And like I think it brings a human side to this guy who was basically like a sleeper cell for Hydra for over half of his life now, right? And he's murdered a lot of people, and he's still dealing with all that. And in a smaller scale, I'm sure all of us deal with like things that we regret or like things we've been through, and like all that shit keeps coming back to haunt us, randomly throughout a day. You know what I mean? That moment when like you're just walking and like a bad memory just hits you and you're trying to forget it or whatever. And like I think that's what's so cool about Marvel is they touch on like little things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like him being in therapy is such a cool thing to see, even on a large scale movie like that, because everybody's dealing with shit, especially now. Mental health is such a important topic now that is we're basically talking about it. But yeah, like even something as simple as like the idea of regret, he's we're discussing it on Bucky, who's dealing with it on a murder scale. You know what I'm saying? He's killed leaders and shit. So yeah, I think it's really dope that they were able to touch on it like that, because everyone deals with shit like that. So I think that's why I think, like I said earlier, the word of the day on this is grounded. Like it's bringing us back to the humanity of like the human experience. You know what I'm saying? We're dealing with like like with Sam, we're dealing with like him having imposter syndrome. Like, does he really deserve to be the next Captain America? Now with Bucky, which he's dealing with regret and like all that shit and PTSD, like being at war for almost your entire life. So yeah, like he talks about it, right? He only had like a few years in between in Wakanda to have a break. So yeah, it's like basically, yeah, you're dealing with all these human emotions, but because we forget that part when we're looking at these giant characters who are so massive, who are fighting aliens and shit, and you forget like, oh yeah, this dude has to go to therapy. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was good. That was a really good scene to introduce Bucky in, like from a nightmare of like a past, and tying that back into Yori is like a crazy storyline, man.
Yeah. Did y'all peep where like Bucky woke up and like there's something happens with people who have like PTSD or whatever, or they've been in hard situations, like they can't sleep on beds. They have to sleep on like the floor because it's harder. Floor. It's like a harder surface or whatever. That's like a little piece that I love that part of storytelling too. It's like it's something subtle that they don't have to go into, but you get that image like immediately.
And Sam's role, he was like a counselor for a lot of folks, and he said the same thing to Steve Rogers.
Steve, yeah,
about like not sleeping on your bed because it feels like
the mattress too soft, right? He's like, the mattress too soft, right? Yeah. Now I love that they touched on that. Great point on there, man.
Yeah. All parallels.
Yeah, so we go from that. We get to see Bucky and he's like reliving his sins or whatever. But then we cut back to Sam and we get to see him go home. He gets to see his sister. And again, another great scene. Sam is like trying to tell his sister like, yo, we can't sell the family stuff or whatever, and talking to her. And I think the subtleness of how all these people keep interrupting their conversation. Like, yo, Sam, I love you, bro. I love you, bro. And it's like, yo, we trying to have this conversation. We keep getting interrupted by your superstar status, basically. Like, I can't get my work done because of your thing or whatever. It's like interrupting us having this conversation. But it was kind of cool to see him try to go back to his family roots. And he really is trying to hold on to like his family legacy, which I think is dope for somebody who has done such great things to be like, nah, man, I still need my family. Like, I want to keep my boat. I want to keep the family house. I want to keep our legacy, like our name. And he hasn't like kind of went all the way out. Like, okay, I'm still like Sam. I'm still Sam coming back here. But I think to have the conflict, but still the love between brother and sister, I really appreciated that because I got a sister and I love her. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh man, I really felt that interaction. What y'all think?
Yo, for me, beautiful. I loved it. It just gives us more of that stuff we wanted to see. That transition from the blip, or as somebody said, we should call it the snapping. Remember that terrible M. Night Shyamalan, The Happening, or whatever. I guess what it was.
Right.
But actually, what do y'all think about that? The blip. Do you?
I
like
was annoyed. I was like, that's a terrible name.
I don't know if I like the blip, yo.
We thought it was from Far From Home. We thought it was just a joke that the teenagers made.
Yeah. I thought they created that term, but I guess it's used worldwide now.
I think they were trying to do a one syllable word, maybe. Right. Maybe that's probably why for script writing purposes, just a one syllable word to say. But yeah, that's a kind of corny ass word for it.
But it's like, what would you call it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the obvious word that you could call it is the rapture, because that's like kind of, you know what I mean? If you're a biblical person, you probably be like, oh, that shit was the rapture, bro. Like that's probably what people were thinking, because that's what it would really be.
But they probably don't want it. I think, probably religious reasons that Disney Marvel don't want to touch on it. But I think in real life, we would all call it the rapture. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was the snap for the longest.
Yeah, I would say the snap, right? Why would you call it the? Okay, I guess saying the blip takes away power from Thanos somehow. I guess like, no, we're gonna take back the word. We didn't get snapped. We blipped.
Canceling snap.
Yeah. You said about that scene though in the bank. That was actually one of my favorite scenes throughout the whole. I love the interaction between Sam and the banker, because like you said, like he was really just trying to get this loan. And he kept saying, "Oh, I want a picture. Can you give me a picture?" It's like,
oh yeah, he fanboyed out.
For my sister, and you're not helping me right now. So
yo, I legit would have taken my selfie back. I was like, "You ain't giving me a loan. Give my selfie back. Give me this shit back.
That phone, bitch."
Tell Redwing to delete that.
I love the detail when he was saying that he hasn't had any finances for 5 years, and that's because he's been gone for 5 years. I'm like, damn, right? How do you fix that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Also, the fact it's like, yo, was Stark paying you? Like, what was the deal there? And that shit made me kind of be like, yeah, what? Like, Tony was good. Like, I mean, why you are a billionaire who owns like all this tech, like basically anything he can imagine. The nigga fucking went back and reverse engineered time travel. You telling me you couldn't get like Bruce Wayne bought Martha Kent's home. You know what I mean? That's the one thing Justin got on this. Like, Tony Stark could have bought the home or the boat for Falcon. That's the least he could have did. You know what I'm saying? But
I saw a tweet today and it basically said, damn, Tony Stark had the whole Avengers in a 360 deal, like, basically that's what's happening. And Tony Stark was the label, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's how he stay rich, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'll give y'all a little tech, but I own the rights.
Everyone that's been snapped, they're gonna have the same financial problems as Sam.
For real.
That's half the whole world having that same financial issue.
Yeah, man. But so I don't know, that shit was tough too on like a emotional level. Like, I know as like a black man, that's like a thing that we have to deal with. It's like we come in with the same like kind of story. We open up our finances like, oh, sorry, you're not approved. There's no rationale. You don't hear it. You just don't get approved for your loan. And that's like something that is kind of major. And I love the way that Marvel even touches like, hey, that's always happening to us. And I'm like, damn, Marvel, you're like, because I don't know, to me, when I saw Black Panther, I was like, after seeing the movie, I was just kind of like in awe. And like, I don't know if y'all felt this like I felt this, but being a black man, and then you have like the disconnect between the African diaspora, like all the people who came from Africa or whatever, it's like a different thing. Like when you're black in America, it's different than being an African American, you know what I'm saying? Like coming from Africa, being here, and for them to play that story and to have those characters basically explain that difference, you know what I'm saying? And it was 100% the feeling of like of Killmonger being like almost left here in America to deal with all the racism and how all that shit happened. And then while over in Africa, like your image is kind of what Wakanda is, like they kind of live in. It's like it feels like they left us, you know what I'm saying? But really you know, you kind of got dropped off or took it, but there's a little schism there, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't think that Marvel would put all of that in a movie, and they did. And I was just like, not used to seeing like big budget, but our story, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit was like wow, like I just like really y'all went for it.
They
and
went
to
there,
see
dog.
them in this do the same thing where it's like, nah, they do this to us. And even Sam and Brody being like brother, like I'm like, it's just those little things. It means so much to me as like a black man seeing it, just like, damn, like because we don't see that. Like it may not seem like it, and I know y'all feel this when y'all see representation of yourself. It's like something so little that other people might not notice, but you're like, damn, yo, like I feel that. Like that shit connects.
Right.
But so that scene like really connected, you know what I mean? For them to put that in there and be like, nah, they, you know, this is how they do us, you know?
Right. Me and Mike talked about this in our other podcast that we always love to see representation in any film, but we especially love it when it's done right. When it's not forced. It's not forced. I love because Falcon and Rhodey are kind of the only Black American like people in MCU right now, right? They're the main.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah.
H2.
There's Monica Rambeau now.
Monica Rambeau,
yeah.
So I think
Tessa Thompson, but I guess she's an Asgardian. That doesn't count.
That's Bayer.
Black Asgardian. Asgardian American.
They get Shang-Chi too, and they're going to have some Asian representation again. So, you know, Marvel, they're taking their time and they're doing it right. That's what I really appreciate.
Yeah. I was going to say, tying it back to that bank loan scene, like how you said, like, you know, dealing with certain steps like that they try to hold you back from gaining some type of financial freedom. I love that they did touch about it on like a Marvel or like a Disney scale. But going back to how like in Black Panther, you know, when I was in theaters, even little things like them having like a trap beat in the background of like a scene, like the scene where Killmonger took the throne, even that scene to me was like, holy shit, the culture has infiltrated Disney, yo. Like when was the last time you saw like rolling hi-hats or 808s that's just going off in the fucking background in a Disney movie? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, yeah, Disney has done or at least Marvel has done a really good job of like kind of making amends for like a very whitewashed beginning to the Marvel series, you know? And then now you're seeing it with more representation. Even Yori and I forgot the Asian girl's name in the sushi bar, but like just having a more diverse cast is like, I'm glad that they're becoming more aware of what they're going to do. And like y'all said, with Shang-Chi coming up, you know, we're going to see our first Asian character, our first Asian lead actor in Marvel. So yeah, like Marvel has done a good job of at least tying in stories that are like about the Black experience, about the Asian, the person of color experience. You know what I mean? Like, like going back to Nerds of Color, is like the whole idea is just that we are all part of the same story, going through the same experiences. And yeah, like that, even just an intricacy of going through a bank loan, like everybody's had to deal with some bullshit like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Especially with more pigmentation. So yeah, like that was a real crazy scene that so subtle, but man, like it just hits like, damn, what the fuck? Like they couldn't even get a loan. Damn.
Yeah, right? Just to add to your shit too. I remember I read that a parent got mad when they bought the Black Panther soundtrack because they thought it was for kids. I was like, holy shit, there's so much. Not Disney, but like what you said, like they really know the culture. Like you can't have Black music be anything other than, you know, funk, hip hop, soul. You need all of that. Can't water it down. So yeah.
So I like y'all are gonna keep talking. I gotta run, but I'll just kind of recap to the end so I could drop y'all off at a good place and leave y'all at a good spot. But so after Sam goes through that, the moment with his sister and whatnot, Bucky goes on that awkward date. In between there, we talked a little bit about the Flag Smashers and Torres getting his ass whipped. Which, by the way. What kind of rent-a-cop shit was that? Where you saw this dude jump from the 3rd floor and he's like, freeze, hands where I can see them. It's like, what are you doing? He just stepped out of a building, bro. What are you? You know superheroes exist, right?
You don't have jurisdiction here, too.
What are you doing, bro? That was some Rent-A-Cop shit. That was some top flight shit. I didn't understand that. And then that dude he roughed him off appropriately because he should. Yeah. But then he calls in to Sam, and luckily it's just a broken orbital bone. But he's like, yo, like these dudes were super strong. It felt weird. And then Sam kind of gets that inkling of like, oh man, something's up. And at the same time, Bucky's going on his date with homegirl, and we get to see that Yuri is actually the father of the dude that he killed, and he skips out on the date because she was asking too many questions. You know what I'm saying? Like she was getting too personal. You can't get that personal on the first date.
Who you the feds?
Yeah, who you the feds? What you need to know all this for? You ask a lot of questions, yo. And so after getting that phone call, that's when Sam he gets interrupted by his sister. She's like, yo, you got to come look at this. And that's where we get the big reveal that they did the okie doke. Once again, you try out of the goodness of your heart to donate the shield. They're like, actually, we're going to take it and give it to this dude. It's like, what? So we get introduced to U.S. agent Captain America. They're like, oh, a new Captain America. And then Sam just puts his head down like, fuck, I fucked up. That's a feeling too, man, where you're like, I tried to do the right thing, and instantly he knows that he didn't do the right thing when he sees that press conference and they introduced the new Captain America. What y'all think about that?
I'll say this first. I wish they didn't show too much in the trailers, because I feel like that kind of reveal would have been great if we knew that they would not get the shield back eventually. So we know it's going to be temporary.
Yeah, the trailers definitely spoiled that moment. It would have had more weight, like Matt said, if they didn't give us to it before. But I'm excited as a comics fan because I kind of know what's going to happen. Like all my theories in different areas from the years of comics is in my head of like, what is it going to be? But I'm not trying to speculate. I'm trying to just enjoy the journey.
Remember what happened last time? Exactly. You was all Mephisto. Yo, I saw an image where they were like, everybody keeps saying Mephisto is like Mephisto in the winter Mephisto. Everybody's like Mephisto.
I think we're all triggered from that now. Especially me and Matt, we were just like, I was just like trying to learn about the lore and just say like, Mephisto's here, he's there, and like I was trying to learn more about the U.S. agent as well, who looks like a bootleg Steve Rogers. But yeah, I think just enjoying the journey and seeing like, who knows, he might be a villain. He might help Sam get the shield back. He might have his own story too.
Right.
Yeah. Because that title, that mantle has a lot of pressure to it. Maybe once he goes out into a mission, he sees like, oh shit, this shit's really fucking hard. And then Sam comes and saves him.
Saves his ass.
Yeah. I only seen the episode once, but they panned in on his face a little bit, right? Whoever's wearing the...
Yeah.
Are we supposed to know that, or is that just a random?
It's a new actor. It's a new actor that they're bringing into the MCU. But I saw a tweet earlier today, and it was like, you guys remember the old man from the movie Up, the Pixar movie Up?
Yeah.
And then they put the Captain America helmet on him, and it looks exactly like USA agent John Walker, whatever his name is. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting how they tie in, like how they get the shield back, or like what the fight is gonna be with like this impersonator. And I like you guys, I did look into like a little bit of his backstory of how the storyline plays out in the comic books, and it's gonna be interesting to see how like what his character is gonna end up being, as far as like, are they gonna tie it into what was he, like a Thunderbolt or something at some point, or what was he? What was his storyline? I know you probably know more about it.
It's been a minute. I can't think about it at the moment, but there's some there. I'll come with it on the next jump when we do episode 2. I'll bring that
because he's gonna be an important character for sure. It's just like how that he's basically this character that the government appoints, and they can talk to him and basically tell him to do all the things that they want to do as far as their agenda goes. So yeah, that's probably why his character is going to be really important as far as like a antagonist to what Bucky and Sam have to deal with.
Yeah. I gotta roll out, y'all, but I will give my final thoughts, which was this shit was dope, and also this shit was dope. I hope to do this with y'all again. Hope to talk to y'all again, man. Y'all have been dope. I'm gonna look for your music, OG Moose, man.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
I'm gonna give you a listen. Thank you so much, Kuya P. Falcon and Winter Soldier was dope. Y'all close it out. Talk about it amongst yourselves. Y'all know my feelings. I love this shit, and I could talk for hours about it. And I will talk for hours about it. So I'm gonna go so I can get to this roast battle, so I can roast these niggas. Now I'm in the mood. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the
mood.
All right, brother.
Anyways,
good to see you, man.
Stay blessed, man. Stay blessed.
Same to you. All right, nice meeting y'all.
All right, Glenn Lawrence, Level Up Comedy. Make sure you follow my man. I'll have all of his information in the description below. That's my brother right there. But yeah, Kuya P back in here. OG Moose Top Bag Podcast. Matthew and Michael, man, in the house, man. We're at the end of this episode. One of the things though that I forgot to bring up when my man Glenn was talking about it, that I think was a kind of a throwback, but I'm not sure yet. I haven't verified that information. Is the old Asian brother that he sat down and drink at the bar and everything, right? One of the things that was mentioned is that they fought back in they're in the war together, because remember he's so if y'all remember, and what I'm trying to verify, if you remember First Avenger, there was an Asian brother that was part of their team. Jim Morita was the character played by Kenneth Chow Choi. So I think that's one and the same character, yo. Because how like they try to weave things together. We're now seeing Jim Morita, older head, and his. So I think the son is Yori, and he's Jim. Because we didn't get the character's name. I don't think they mentioned the brother's name, or did they? Do y'all remember?
That character was like in Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
That picture in the background, that's his grandfather, and I think that's the same actor that played him. That's his grandson.
Yeah. The character that played him in the first Avenger, he comes back in Homecoming as the principal. Yeah. And the storyline that they're playing out is that his granddad was in the military too, and blah blah blah. He was like, and they allude to it that he was part of the Howling Commandos, out there called. Yeah, but it's not the same character. But it could be an interesting thing though, because I believe he's Japanese, right? Yori was a Japanese guy. Yeah. So I mean the complications of like the Japanese during the war, maybe, maybe that could be how the storyline they tied that into. But yeah, that is a good point that, going backwards to when they're around the same age, right? So it's like the dude was like 90 and Bucky's like 106. So they for sure both fought or had some experience during the World War, the first couple World Wars, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
but they did tie that character in. They tied that character in during Homecoming, which is cool.
I gotta catch the Homecoming joint to catch that, because I think I missed that in Homecoming. But but that it's still saying they fought together in the war or whatever. I was thinking that was going to say, but that hurt as well. And I think Matthew, you said that that really hit me hard. And for me, I guess I'll give it a little bit of mine with this. I thought it was dope, fucking beautiful. And actually, I'm sorry, an idea popped in my head that I definitely, now that the Top Back crew is in here, that I want to get y'all's thoughts on. But being that I'm a prior service cat, served in the military, did my time for 4 years, and just with what they're doing, if you're gonna have war, if you're gonna have heroes and you're battling and violence, what I'm saying, there's the ramifications of violence. And also as a Filipino American, as like yourselves, we don't really talk about therapy, and I gotta tell you, it's been helpful for me. I talked a little bit with Moose in our Show Pal Show episode that I did. It's now time, I think, that we as Asian Americans are looking into that. It helps. And so I love the way that they speak on this, to just show that it's needed, especially if you go through things. And these motherfuckers are going through things. They saving the universe. They saving the world. So just the way that they talk on it, and especially I think they did it amazingly with WandaVision. However, my one thing with WandaVision, as much as we love it, and we've all discussed, I know y'all talked about it on Top Back, and we talked about it, all through, with great job, but I just think that Wanda should have suffered a little bit more repercussions for, doing her whole thing to a whole town. But I think that's going to happen in Multiverse, because that's a criminal act. The fact that Monica could just let her go when she just did all that, We're really? We just gonna let this Karen just go after she did all this shit? Come on, man.
Oh, if we could, we could do something about it.
I mean, they really tried to stop her. They can't do shit. So
they can't do shit. She's in the mountains now, reading the dark hole with like an alternate soul, yo. Like there's nothing that they could have done to her. But yeah,
I feel that, but it's just like, come on. What she did, but
she'll have to deal with it. She'll have to deal with it during the the Doctor Strange movie, right? She's gonna have to deal with the repercussions of everything that she had to do.
She's gonna get corrupted by the Darkhold. That's what I think is happening.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be
for sure.
I think this whole multiverse is a chase through the multiverse with Strange and all these other characters. I'm Mordo's gonna come into the picture. Actually, I think Mordo's gonna fuck with her. These are like I know we're like straight up predictions. We kind of got sideways off of this, but we geeking right now.
But Doctor Strange too. If y'all remember, he's gonna be making an appearance in Spider-Man. So that movie comes before that. It comes in December, I think. So they're gonna definitely tie in multiverse with that shit too, because we're gonna be dealing with what's his name, Electro, Doc Ock, and J.K. Simmons' character. The guy, they're all from like an alternate Spider-Man character, so they have to answer that. So we're gonna be seeing how the multiverse really ties in. That's basically the trilogy. I remember Feige did mention what he was trying to do was the multiverse storyline is with WandaVision, with Spider-Man, and then concluding with Doctor Strange. So it's gonna be an epic storyline, man.
So, QP, I got a question for you though.
Go ahead, brother.
So, obviously, you're a big Marvel fan, and when WandaVision came out, they're saying that the whole series is supposed to be based on House of M. Did you wish the story was actually more close with House of M? Because I read it and it's like they took some inspirations, but definitely didn't follow through in a lot of other stuff, especially with Doctor Strange, because they had very little to do with her going crazy and shit too.
I definitely want to see the House of M storyline, but like you said, they didn't. They took elements of House of M and they took elements of my man Tom King's Vision series. I don't know if y'all have peeped that. Check that out. It's really dope. When Vision like had his own family and everything, so there's like elements taken from there. So highly recommend that shit. But I'd love to see it. I love what we got. You know what I'm saying? They gave us an amazing joint with WandaVision. But I definitely want to see the House of M storyline down the road, bro. Like, calm down.
That might play out in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. Technically, they're just like, this is just like the first seed. They're like blending it all together.
Right.
I think as fans, we just wanted to see it all in one season, but there was just so much experimentation that and the fact that we don't have like the X-Men in it yet. So it's like, and they played the mutants was a huge part of House of M. So you can't have House of M without no House of Magneto.
We got to get that build up before you do that.
Exactly.
Exactly. And also patient as hell, so we just want that shit.
That was my biggest disappointment with fucking WandaVision. Like they didn't even introduce a little bit of X-Men. They didn't even mention mutants, anything.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I was expecting them to do, and they didn't do it.
They fucked with it though. I gotta give them props that red herring with I forgot the actor that played Quicksilver. Evan Peters. They fucked with us. Yeah. And then they was like, yo, we even called that motherfucker a boner, son. Like we boned you bitches, huh? It was crazy.
You know what? I'll say this though about that is that you guys have to realize, Marvel's trying to set up phase 4 and phase 5, right? So we got like up to 4 or 5 years. Marvel's just taking their sweet time, you know what I mean? Because they know that they have to have enough characters to introduce later. So we'll get X-Men, you know what I'm saying? X-Men is going to be in this. How they tie it in, we're still getting Fantastic Four. They're barely getting into mystical and demonic characters. So we're about to get Blade. Like we're getting whole other universes later on. This is literally like in baseball terms, they're the leadoff batter. You know what I'm saying? WandaVision was just the leadoff batter. With Black Widow was supposed to be the leadoff batter, but now we're getting, we got WandaVision first. But here's an interview I saw that the screenwriters and the showrunners of WandaVision talked about, and the reason why they didn't really tie in much into like a bigger picture of the House of M or tying any other characters in or Mephisto really was because the show was about going through the stages of grief, and that the big villain in this whole show was grief. Like what happens when you lose somebody? And I think to me, that's why I thoroughly enjoyed it morally, because like the idea was just that she was going through every stage throughout the 9 episodes, right? And by the end, it was acceptance, and she went through every stage. And I think that's why they weren't able to tie in. But yeah, as impatient as we all are, we know we about to get that shit. We about to get all the crazy villains, because if we're keeping it 100, and I'm sure Clea P will say this too, a lot of the best villains are on the X-Men series or the Fantastic Four series, right? The Dr. Dooms of the world and Galactus. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They're taking their time. You know what I mean? Just how the Infinity Saga was, it took 3 phases, 10 years. Like, they're gonna take their sweet time with Marvel going forward, man. We about to get some crazy shit.
Would you be okay with another 10 years though? That's my question.
Shit, I'm excited.
In order to tell a good story, I think we got to. As much as we want it as fanboys, like we want everything now. That's what we as a society do. But
we're getting spoiled in 2021. We're getting 2 years worth of content this year.
True.
This was supposed to be WandaVision was supposed to come out last year. You know what I'm saying? Like Black Widow was supposed to come out last year. Falcon was supposed to come out last year. So we basically got WandaVision like 3 weeks between. Then we're getting, I forgot what the next one's gonna be, but Loki's coming next.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, we're spoiled, man. They spoiling us, man. Like we were talking about DC earlier, how before you guys were here, we were talking about how
that's
DC,
the question I'm gonna throw on top back in a little bit.
Yeah, because how like DC is like, they've been scarred by Warner Brothers fucking with them for years, but like we're so spoiled as Marvel fans, man. We're getting the best of the best screenwriting, best stunt coordinators. The CGI is amazing. That they hired the best animators. Like, come on, man, and the best acting too. Like RDJ is one of the GOAT actors of all time. Don Cheadle. We're getting a lot of great Hall of Fame actors. You know what I'm saying? We're spoiled, man. So I'm enjoying this time that we have as Marvel fans, because the next 10 years, I know Cleo, like we're not really like, we're still kind of young, fairly, all of us. So like, in 10 years, we're going to have children and we're going to take them to the theaters to see this storyline pan out. You know what I mean? Hopefully,
The full Blu-ray set ready for them when they're born.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And by the way, super sidebar, bro. I see the Kobe picture in the back. Shout out to the Mamba, man, for real.
Yeah.
There's a Bruce Lee one right above it.
And a Bruce Lee. Oh, wow. Damn. Okay.
Yeah. There we go.
Yes,
Legends.
sir. Nah. So
I see your Gundam. I see your Tampa Bay.
Oh yeah,
bro. I got my Gundam right here.
Dude, I started building a lot of Gundam stuff earlier this pandemic. Man, it was such a beautiful thing to that 6 hours of just getting stupid high. You know what I mean, and just building something is dope.
All day.
See what we working with.
Bringing this in.
Hey, okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk more about all that other stuff later on. Yeah. But back to Marvel, right? Back to Marvel.
Yeah. I was actually gonna bring this up too. Oh yeah, Moose, we gotta connect on music, bro. Like
for sure.
That brother's talented, dog. Definitely holler, my man.
I was wishing Glenn was gonna stay longer, but I was gonna ask y'all, because Kevin Feige had a layout for phase 4, basically, like the whole schedule set out. So obviously a lot of things have changed. Like we're supposed to get Black Widow first, and then we're actually supposed to get Falcon after, but kind of in reverse now. So I wonder, what do you guys think changed, or what do you think they could have changed to fit the story better?
Good question.
Because I was thinking this whole what was the terrorist group called?
The Flag Smashers.
Flag Smashers.
Yeah.
And
LAF too, which was Batrock's joint.
I had a feeling that it had something to do with Black Widow, with the Taskmaster. Maybe. I don't know. You would know, QEP, but yeah.
I don't have that underground info yet, but yeah. Nah, I feel that.
It was so.
Yeah.
The way that Black Widow kept getting delayed and pushed back, it was really sad, because the implications from that story probably were going to lead to Falcon, but more or less, right? That story in the timeline was what they were dealing with between Civil War or after Civil War, right? Is that the storyline? So it just kind of sad that it got delayed, but I'm sure that they're really trying to get the feeder money. You know what I mean? They're trying to get the So I wonder, like you said, I wonder what the storyline could be that they're readjusting. Because if they were willing to delay Black Widow for that long,
it must not be that.
It probably doesn't have that many like future implications. But I was excited just to see how Taskmaster plays out, because I was playing the Spider-Man game from years ago, and they had a Taskmaster character, and now I really want to see him in theaters. So I can't wait to see Black Widow. But yeah, if they were willing to delay it for that long, maybe it doesn't have that many implications as far as like, you know.
Yeah. Taskmaster is one of the dopest characters too, man.
Yeah.
I'm not, although I got it in the comic book, though I like the look of the comic book, but it doesn't really translate to screen. But then at the same time,
this shit looks cool though.
It look all right. I don't know. It look cool. It's still cool, but the mask, like I don't know. It's I'm kind of like but yeah. I hope it's good. But
are y'all actually gonna go to the theaters to watch it? Because I think I am.
Yeah, that I'm still thinking about, man, because of famine.
I'm waiting for my second dose, Matt. So
yeah, bro, I gotta get a first one, man.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Once the vaccination is in, bro, I'm for sure gonna be in theaters because I do miss that experience, bro.
Yeah,
just like I used to love like, and I used to be one of those dudes like, how could you go to a theater alone? Then I got older. And I love going to a theater, just walking in and just dolo, couple edibles in, smoke the doobie in the parking lot, and just like, fuck, man, this is amazing. Just that solo experience is so cool. So I do miss that, and I'm for sure I can't wait to see Black Widow in theaters, just because I mean, damn, like that's gonna be their first feature since Spider-Man, right? Yeah, basically, yeah. So it's been a long time coming.
I was telling Mike watching the game was like the best experience I've ever had in the theater. Ever.
Endgame.
Never had the crowd scream so loud in my life.
When he gets the hammer joint.
Mjolnir? Oh,
exactly. When Cap gets it, that's what I was saying. When my wife and I were just talking about that, like, I think all of us experienced that. It happened everywhere, yo. When Cap finally gets the hammer, everybody erupted, like, because they built that up so well. I think it was in Ultron when they're all trying to pick up the hammer and everything, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah,
so, like, Cap, bruh. Yeah, I miss that shit. Yeah. But I also don't want to get COVID.
When he did Avengers Assembled, I shed a little tear. Can't lie.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
I was dying, though. I was like, how the hell did everybody hear him? Because he whispered it.
No, I'm not going to lie, though. Yeah, like, I've probably seen Endgame like 4 or 5 times that week. And I didn't really get emotional when Tony passed. But I got emotional the second time during the Assembled. For some reason, I got mad emotional. The horns was the Avengers theme was blaring in my ears. I'm like, oh, this is like 10 years of loyalty that I had to Disney to Marvel paying off. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, the build up to Endgame was an amazing experience, and it was so. I think you know what the best I think about Marvel fans too, not to get sentimental or shit, but like how we can all keep the spoilers so quiet, so that you know by the time you go,
at first we weren't doing it. We got better with it.
It's like just the fact that like they were able to keep certain secrets, you know, at least within the first week. Like, yo, go to the theaters immediately. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone's gonna spoil this shit right now. So go to the theaters and see that. So it's cool that Marvel fans are able to do that, because part of the Marvel experience, right, is like the twists and turns. You know, like, holy shit, what the fuck? Like, yeah.
Word. So, yo, before I get to that, a big question I have for the top back hat, since they weren't with us at the beginning, let's go ahead and close it out on Falcon Winter Soldier. Moose, final thoughts on this first episode, and then we'll get to the question that top back missed out on.
Yo, John Walker, you look like a punk, bro. You got that punchable face like homie from WandaVision. The what's his name? Tyler Hayward.
Oh yeah,
he got a punchable face, bro. So
you gotta watch. You gotta follow the rich white man, just like Rush Hour 2.
Yeah,
you gotta watch out.
So Marvel, they know exactly how to hire a punchable face. So if just by the wink you get frustrated, you could tell that this character's about to take us through. I think we got 5 episodes left, right? So they're about to run through us to the emotional roller coaster of hating and saying this dude and rooting for the character. But I'm excited they killed it with this first character, this first episode. Just that first initial fight sequence through the mountains was amazing, and just bring it back down. Like the word of the day was, what I'm saying, grounded. They were able to ground these characters to being relatable with mental health and therapy, PTSD, like, you know, and even the bank loan scene. Like, they were able to tie in so many emotions through one, 40-minute episode. And yeah, you know, Marvel just with another banger. I mean, what else are we gonna do? Kevin Feige is basically Dr. Dre, bro. He's a kingmaker, bro. Yes, Kevin Feige's a kingmaker, man.
Hell yeah. All right, so same sort of question, Matthew and Michael, man. Top Back in the house, Top Back podcast. Make sure y'all check them out, man. I want to tie it though into the question from earlier since y'all missed out. So basically, this week as nerds, we got Zack Snyder's Snyder Cut Justice League competing against this Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
you know, what do y'all think? Who won the day for this week? Because, you know, obviously as nerds, we're going to compare the two. So final thoughts on Falcon Winter Soldier. And then I guess to tie into how, you know, and did y'all both see Snyder Cut yet to put that in there?
My Wi-Fi was out yesterday.
So you ain't seen it, so you can't really say then.
I haven't seen it, but I watched the Justice League. We could do final thoughts on the Falcon first. I think just like the way the build up, the way they're weaving this story, like, again, it's just like very grounded. It's none of that trippy shit of like aesthetic nods and all that. It's like there's a real story that's being built out. And then again, I'm looking forward to seeing Bucky and Falcon just bounce off each other, just joke around, and that partnership is going to be real. And they don't have Cap there to hold that bond together. Now they're going to create their own bond, so it doesn't feel as forced. What you think, Matt? What's your final thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's a great first episode. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. Like, my fiance, she didn't really like WandaVision like that, but she loved the first episode of this series. So if that's any implication, that's pretty much it.
Hey, when the significant other feels it too, that's real talk though. Yo, when my wife vibes with it, yeah, I feel you on that.
Well, she got annoyed because me and Mike, we always praise the fuck out of Elizabeth Olsen. That's why.
Oh yeah, Elizabeth.
Too hard.
Hey, she was looking mighty fine in this series, bro. Especially during the Halloween episode. I was like, oh yeah. I never knew this, Lizzie. This side of Lizzie.
Yeah, when she does her twinkle with her nose, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, babe. Lizzie Bay. Y'all say Lizzie Bay.
Elizabeth.
Hey, okay.
I'm
rolling, Matt.
I'll use that one too. She did make my eyes look a little bit different. Okay, I see what you're working with, girl.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know we throwing shade on it, but man, you have to compare when you're competing against each other in the same opening week. So I know you said, Michael, you didn't see it. Matthew, did you see Justice League, the new joint?
So me and Mike, it's kind of weird because I didn't watch the Joss Whedon version.
Okay.
I've never seen it, so I have nothing to compare it to. I just watched
it.
All right, I'll say this: I'm a Marvel fan, like in and out. I love all the characters. Batman is my favorite superhero of all time. Like, he's always a kid. So anytime Batman's on screen, I expect like quality every single time. And it's because we've been spoiled with the Dark Knight trilogy too. I expect a lot more. But there's no competition, bro. There's like no competition between the two. Like, that was a 4-hour, like, that has some good moments, but that shit bored me, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want us to be a shit show because we talking on Marvel shit. But like, I actually want it to be good. Like, we're nerds. We love these characters. We want good shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a friendly rivalry when we put them against each other. But really, at the end of the day, I want them both to be like, well, because, you know, Marvel killing it. So like, yeah.
Here's the thing too. Yeah. The Justice League, the casting is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck as Batman, I think that would have been perfect like 10 years ago. 20 years ago. Gal Gadot killed it. I mean, she's always
fine as fuck.
She's fine as fuck.
Super fine.
I don't know much about Aquaman, but I think he plays a good Aquaman. That's a good representation.
Yeah. Well, that's for our girlfriends right there.
Yeah, exactly. They can have Momoa.
Yeah.
Cyborg, the CGI, holy shit, dude. That fucking CGI was terrible. Like, New graphics better than that shit, dude.
When you see the original Steppenwolf, if you ever go back to the Joss Whedon Justice League, they upgraded him major, and it was a good upgrade. Still look whack though. But that's
dude, it was a chore to watch that. Like I had to stop midway and take a break, and then go right back and finish it.
It was just like Wonder Woman 1984. I haven't watched it yet, but like I know I told Matt earlier today, it's like when your first impression is so bad that a little bit of improvement is like amazing to like those diehards.
In the comments, and they're going crazy over it, like it's a masterpiece or something. Like,
I know. Hey, they fought for it, man. They fought for it.
Yeah.
They fought for it.
I'll
say this. I mentioned this earlier when we were talking about it earlier, but I'll say this, that for what it was, the bar was so low because of the first original movie was such a shit show that this was like, wow, this is kind of blew it out of the water for me, because I was like, damn, I didn't expect it to be entertained. But because it's a director's cut, there's so much fat into it that I was like, man, I can't believe I have to watch this shit. Like, it's too damn long, bro. 4 hours is too damn long. But I get it because it's a director's cut. Now, if I imagine a theatrical version of it, that probably will be like what, 3 hours or something is what you probably do in theaters. Like, maybe it'll look good, but it's just because we're so spoiled by like Marvel. They have really good screenwriters, like great animators, like we talked about earlier, and they were comparing it to this shit show, and I'm just like, damn, bro. I've never been a fan of Snyder's work like that. You know, I know what he had to go through. Because of, you know, his losing his daughter, but like, I've never really been a fan of his directing style. I think he's more like aesthetic over like really good screenwriting, and that's the most important thing about a movie to me, in my opinion, over anything else. Also the acting too, but like the most important thing is that the writing has to be great. And if the writing isn't great, how the hell is it going to carry me to keep watching? And I think that's what DC movies are so like cursed with, is that they just have like some really cheesy lines. Like the first hour of this Zack Snyder cut, I'm just like, are you guys serious, bro? Like, y'all, this is the most expensive movie of all time, and the script is this bad. But what are we doing? But they ended up redeeming themselves with the third act. I think the scenes ended up being cool. The CGI is better. Steppenwolf was a better villain this time around, but the bar is so low. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
the CGI is better in this one?
Yeah.
I think so. So. Just because the first one was such a shit show. It was a rush job. They had to replace.
They're like, we're never gonna go see that version now, huh?
Yeah, do not. It's a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad,
time, bro.
Yeah, but you know, I'll say this about DC fans: they've had a hard time. Like, I know you guys are a basketball podcast too, right? So in the terms of like basketball, they're like the New York Knicks. The DCEU extended universe is the New York Knicks. Like. It's good for the league if they are good, like how this year they're decent, right? Yeah. But it's good for the league. But their fans are so like shitted on by the organization. Like Warner Brothers has done such a shit job, other than the Dark Knight trilogy, with like all their characters for so long, that I hope that they do better, because I feel bad for those fans. Like, look at them on Twitter, bro. Like they're treating this like this is fucking, you know what I'm saying, the greatest masterpiece of all time. So I hope that they get something better in the future. I think this Snyder universe is dead. They're already moving forward with another Flash movie that's not even related to this. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, I just feel bad for them, but like the league is better. The world is better if everybody's good, right? So if Marvel and DC are good, it's kind of like how the Lakers were kind of bad a few years ago. It's good to have them back on top, because the fans interacting with each other are always the best. That's the best part of fandom, is like when you're nerding over people, you know, when nerding with other people. And if DC fans are depressed, like we can't shit on them if they're depressed, bro. Like, you know? So I hope that they get that shit together. Warner Brothers, man, get y'all shit together, bro. What the fuck?
Thing is, like, this is Justice League, bro. Like, this is supposed to be their Super Bowl.
Super fan.
Yeah. This is their Avengers.
Right. But if they can't make a good film out of that, I don't have any hope for anybody else. Like, I think I'm not even looking forward to the new Batman movie that much.
They're suffering from not having a Kevin Feige with someone who has.
You hit it right there, bro. You hit it right there.
That focus, and that's the man. That's the Dr. Dre. That's the one that's leading this.
That's like the Pat Riley, the Phil Jackson, where like what he says will guide us to win, not him listening to just drone out over and ramble on. Like he's actually like the guiding force to get us to a victory. And like you said, Kevin Feige, they don't have that. I don't think they do, right? Yeah.
You can tell it's a Warner Brother. Like the studios are making a decision. They're thinking about the buck. Like they want the fast money just because it's superheroes are like hot right now.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Did you guys hear about the whole shit show that happened with the Justice League movie? Not to get too nerdy about the movie industry, but like how like
the Cyborg, like the abuse.
Oh yeah, the Ray Fisher shit.
Joss
or even because you know when the storyline was that the Suicide Squad trailer had just dropped, right? And the response was so great with the trailer that they ended up wanting to cut Suicide Squad and Justice League to be towards more along the lines of being like this happy and like action-packed shit, the way Snyder was trying to go dark with it, because I mean he seems like that type of dude, right? He's kind of more like somber and slow moving. He does a lot of slow motion, which by the way was like, I hated that about this new Snyder Cut. It was like, why the fuck is there a slow motion for every scene, man? Come on, what are we doing? Anyway. Point was like, it was such a shit show that Justice League, the first Justice League was such a shit show that after his daughter passed and he had to leave the project, they literally restarted the entire movie. So it's like, imagine having to fucking cook a whole Thanksgiving dinner at 3 p.m. You know what I'm saying? Like the day before, like, holy shit, like we have to cook a whole dinner and the whole family's going to be here. And they fucked it up. They literally fucked it up. And I think this is at least a decent redemption for them to have something. But yeah, going forward, I want a good Batman fucking series again, because like you said, Batman is fucking amazing. Like the Dark Knight trilogy really reignited my love for Batman during the comic book era when I was a kid. I'm loving that. But then now you got this, I don't know the storylines that are going forward with Batman with this new. It's not even related to the Snyderverse anymore.
They're doing something.
They have their own multiverse without even trying. Like,
it's
been a crisis.
Yeah.
I think the only good thing they have coming out soon is the next Suicide Squad, because they got my man from Guardians. They got James Gunn. James Gunn does his thing. So I think they're gonna be all right with that.
Is Will Smith back? Is he gonna be?
Nah, he ain't doing that.
Idris Elba, isn't it though?
Yeah.
Oh,
Cena's in it. John Cena. He's gonna have his own show. But
yeah, they already spinning off Peacemaker, because he's playing a character by the name of Peacemaker, and I think they wouldn't have got James if they didn't let James have some fun, and you know James wouldn't have accepted it. So I think I have faith in James Gunn because he's a badass motherfucker as a film fan.
He is.
That's why I have the DC product coming. I think the next Suicide joint is gonna be off the chain. So mark my words on that one.
The movie's bad. I at least know the soundtrack's gonna be dope for that.
Yeah. So let's bring it back to Marvel real quick and sign off. If you still guys got like about 10 more minutes, man. There's one thing that as we were discussing, you know, everything, we went all over the place, so we'll bring it back to Marvel. But one of the things that I'm slightly worried on, and it might surprise you guys because I've been doing homework, you know, with the Nerds of Color and stuff we got coming out soon, is since we have all the Filipinos in the house right now, all of us Asians in this house, I'm really anticipating Shang-Chi, you know, because that's going to be our Black Panther. However, when I was doing research and everything, actually, let me bring it up because I'm forgetting the cat's name. So that what has me worried about Shang-Chi now is the writer for Shang-Chi. Where's this cat's name? Okay. I'm gonna tell you some of his past work. He was the writer for Shang-Chi, wrote Expendables 1. Well, actually, first, before that, he wrote Doom. Remember that movie with The Rock? Based on an amazing video game. The video game was dope, but Doom was trash. I don't know about y'all. I'm just gonna say it. To me, Doom was trash. Then he wrote the Expendables. Expendables 1 was okay, but and then his characters were con 2 and 3, but still, you know, Expendables was all right. So I'll give him an all right on Expendables. Then he did the 2014 Godzilla. Just okay, you know what I'm saying? So that to me is just mediocre.
In there too.
Doom is terrible. Expendables, Godzilla, mediocre. He then did Zombieland Double Tap. Zombieland, the first one was amazing. I don't know about y'all. I'm a zombie stan. Zombieland was good, but Double Tap was
classic.
I'm gonna just say mediocre. It was okay for me. I don't know about y'all, but then after that, and which is what has me really worried, he wrote Wonder Woman 1984.
Oh my God.
So with that being said, as you can see, that's not a lot of great shit. That same motherfucker, and he's Asian, by the way. So that's probably why they gave him the gig. But that motherfucker who wrote that shit is writing Shang-Chi. So what do y'all think about that, man? I'm worried, bruh.
I'll never. I posted like a review on Wonder Woman, and I was wondering when it was gonna end. I was like, that movie was so bad.
You feel me?
There was less Wonder Woman in it. There was no Gal Gadot like Bay to us, and it was.
So I hate to bring a high to a low, but do you feel me now? When you see,
shit.
I was heartbroken when I looked at that shit, young. I was heartbroken. This motherfucker fucking with my Shang-Chi, and he did that shit. Come on, bro. I'm hoping. Here's my hope. Wonder Woman 1984, like we said, Kevin Feige is the fucking key. So Kevin Feige could be the redeeming factor that will make Shang-Chi good. But based off of that shit, it has me worried for Shang-Chi. And now I'm about to really fuck y'all up. The movie that's coming out next month that I know we're all hype is because I know y'all gamers as well. Mortal Kombat. He also wrote fucking Mortal Kombat, bro.
We're reviewing that.
I'm slightly worried, but the trailer looks good. So I don't know.
They we might be getting some,
but the motherfucker wrote Mortal Kombat too. But I think Shang-Chi will be all right because of Kevin Feige. But just I'm curious on y'all's thoughts because I was bro. I like shit in tears. This motherfucking doing my shit. My Shang-Chi.
That's an interesting IMDb though. Like he's getting gigs that are like they're big. I guess they're big name, right? Technically.
Yeah.
But they're not really like these prestige projects. They're kind of more like they're trying to make it happen.
Like Godzilla's an Asian franchise.
Right. Asian, yeah. So I think they're probably I think my opinion is that maybe he's just had a bad luck with like how the directors of those movies ended up executing his script. I don't know. And I'm hoping that, like you said, the Marvel, the MCU, the whole Marvel Studios, they have oversight over this. You know what I'm saying? Like they had to do this over 4 or 5 years, I think. So it takes like that long to like develop a shit with them. So I'm assuming that they had Kevin was looking over his shoulder just to make sure, like
I hope
like,
so.
Yeah. So yeah, I have high hopes because I mean the storyline is gonna be crazy. They're gonna bring the 10 Rings, the Mandarin into it. Like that's really like there's a lot of pressure on him to make that storyline good. So I think he's probably gonna level up to. I mean, I'm sure Matt, you guys are probably Laker fan. I'm assuming, Matt.
No, I'm Warriors fan.
Oh, okay. We got the Kobe style. I was gonna assume, but anyway, like I was like how they won last year. The Lakers won last year with Dwight Howard. Maybe this guy's Dwight Howard, and he's gonna step up because LeBron is over his shoulder. Like, hey, I need you to be Kevin's LeBron. You know what I'm saying? I need you to be good. Fuck all the other bullshit. I need you to be your best today. So maybe that's what we're gonna get is him stepping up to the plate. With such a lot of pressure because I know obviously he's Asian, so he knows the pressure that's on him. You know what I'm saying? Like this is gonna be Crazy Rich Asians times 10.
Yeah. This is gonna be our Black Panther, basically.
Yeah.
The thing is with Shang-Chi, the only thing I really, really care about is the martial arts because I'm a big martial arts fan. Bruce Lee, I know they're taking a lot of inspiration from Bruce Lee as well. And maybe a little Jackie Chan too. So the stunt choreography better be on point. It better be like the best we've ever seen as far as fights. And I don't know. Do you guys know a lot about the other MCU films in the past as far as writers and stuff like that too?
Not offhand. I guess I'm analyzing it because I'm so anticipating. That's why I did the research.
Right.
Because
I think the director is almost like the key part to this.
Yeah, Destin Daniel. Let me see. I got it since I got it up right now. Destin. Oh, he's an Asian brother too. Okay, cool. We got an Asian brother for Shang-Chi. He did Just Mercy, which was a great. I don't know. Not really a kung fu film, but it's a great film with my man Michael B. Jordan. Actually, that's his biggest film. The rest of the film's work is all shorts, film shorts.
Yeah.
Sometimes directors are the most important thing because they bring everything together. Because like fucking Batman v Superman, right? Fucking terrible director. The script itself is actually not bad, but you have a terrible director putting it together. So it's like you gotta pick your poison here.
True.
For Shang-Chi, I mean, based on what you said, I'm not too worried because Kevin Feige, like, we have no reason to doubt him at this point. Like, he's been
exactly.
He's a kingmaker.
Yeah, ever since the start of Phase 3, I think he's been on like a roll basically. Captain Marvel was like the only misstep in my opinion, but yeah, he's been good. He's been real good.
What you think, Michael?
Shit, now I'm gonna just keep it like until I see it, and then judge it from there.
I feel like I made y'all worry, which I
know, bro. I wasn't thinking about that.
When I saw it, bro,
everything going on right now, I was like,
I'm sorry, y'all. When I saw that, man, I was like, bro, because I wanted Wonder Woman to be good, man. And then, because that's what I was thinking about the whole time. Like you said when you were watching it too, like this shit's trash. I was like, I blame it on the screenwriter. Because to me, you had fucking Patty Jenkins, who's a great director. You had Gal Gadot, you had all these elements of greatness, but this script was whack. So I thought about the screenwriter. And so when I looked at the screenwriter, Dave Callum, and then I saw, oh shit, he's writing Shang-Chi. God damn it. At that moment, I didn't think that, okay, Kevin Feige will redeem his ass. It just made me worry, bro. So I'm hopeful for Mortal Kombat. Hopefully they have somebody else on there. I think the gaming cast will really push them on that. So, but yeah, I just had to talk to other Asians because, bro, that's our shit. Shang-Chi's gonna be our shit, man. Like, don't do us like that, bro.
Nah, I have faith. Man. I have faith.
Yeah,
I think it's important to know that, you know, like I keep bringing it to basketball terms, but that's like the biggest analogy I can really make is that, you know, sometimes a player's troubled for years and years and years, but then they hop on like a good coaching staff that believes in them and that brings the best out of them, having a good team around. And maybe that's always the biggest difference. It's like who is around the project. That's what makes a movie good, because it's more than just one person, right? It's a team effort. And like if like you guys know all the horror stories of like movies of past that just fall to shit because of like, you know, something happens during the shooting. But yeah, so it could always be anything, but it's never up to just one person. So I'm hoping that maybe he was just like, you know, not cursed, but he didn't have like the best people, because it's hard to make a really good movie. It's really hard to do that, right? So I'm assuming that now with a great solid team, you know, like he's got a super team with the Marvel Studios, man. So I'm sure that he'll execute something really good. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, for real, we're about to see something that's gonna be historical for you know, representation, for our representation at least. Yeah.
That was my next question to y'all, to both of y'all. Is Shang-Chi enough for you guys as far as Filipino representation, or do we just fall under the same umbrella as Asian? Like, is that enough?
Nah, it fulfills the Asian representation. We still need a good Filipino hero, man. I'm gonna, you know, I'm all about it because it's API. We need a Wave joint, but even Wave ain't that big of a superhero yet in Marvel. You know, y'all know Wave, right?
Yeah.
I hope y'all know Wave.
Yeah.
Come on,
It'd be funny if they got Leia Salonga to sing the theme for sure. Bro, it's Disney, bro. They have her. They can get it.
Yeah,
I feel that.
They gonna recycle characters like that.
You know what I think about that is just I think we're so Filipinos, as far as representation goes, are like such in the bottom of the important list. Like they were trying to, you know, represent for having more blacks in the diversity as far as that. Have they touched on the Hispanic community yet in Marvel?
Oh, not in Marvel. Like they're starting to build stories more, like Raya the Last Dragon.
I think Torres, I'm assuming Torres from the Falcon Winter Soldier is going to be a Hispanic character. So like they're still trying to get like make amends for having such a white cast for such a long time. But you know, I think, you know, I'm just going to be patient that maybe down the line, maybe Wave will hit the character, or maybe there'll be Filipino actors that they hire. But
it's Ned. That's Filipino.
Oh, right,
Jacob Batalon.
See,
shout out to my man Jacob Batalon. Yeah.
So little character castings like that is really is good to see, because you know that they're conscious of that. They're conscious of like, we have to diversify our culture because we don't want to isolate any of our fan base, like, because they have fan base all throughout the world. So I'm sure they'll conscious of that. Maybe down the line, we'll see more characters. I'm not too worried about it because, like, I think, in my opinion, Marvel's one of the good guys. They're one of the good studios, and not just to say we're biased because we're nerds for them, but like, I think they're one of the good guys. They generally try hard to make an effort to fight for good things, and you know what I'm saying? Like, they're always in the forefront of certain things. So I hope that they do, diversify with bringing in more characters that we can see. But I think there are still so many things that they still have to do, right? They still got to do a Hispanic character. I think they're bringing in Miss Marvel as like an Indian character. So they're slowly and steadily trying to diversify the cast, I think. So
my theory is I think Miles Morales is gonna come in Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah, I hope so. And I think
can't
Silk,
wait
we're
for
gonna
that.
get Silk though for like the Asian Spider-Man. Well, she's a
Mm.
girl, Asian Spider-Girl. I think we're getting Silk. Because I'm hoping we're seeing an Agents of Atlas build up for real. Because think about it, we got Jimmy Woo, we got Shang-Chi, now, and then I think at some point we'll get an Amadeus Cho, and he became a totally awesome Hulk. So and there was a nugget that Silk is gonna drop in the next Spider-Man joint. So there you go. And we got Miss Marvel. I forgot.
Yeah.
The Pakistani Captain Marvel,
Yep.
Miss Marvel.
Pakistani. I said Indian.
So yeah. So they have the elements for Agents of Atlas, that Jimmy Woo led team. So hopefully we'll be getting our Asian Avengers, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Bucky's girlfriend too.
Yeah. So
right, there you go.
Some good shit is popping, man. We're gonna get some shit.
I don't even know her name, bro.
Did they say her name?
No, she just kept saying Battleship.
Yeah.
They didn't even give her a name. Oh, I'm sick, bro.
I will say though, as far as heroes, I'm just because y'all know. I don't know if y'all know. I'm a filmmaker, actor outside of this stuff. That there's a movement. I've got a Battle of Mactan script. If y'all are familiar with a real hero in the Philippines, Lapu Lapu. I'm working on trying to build that. So that to me, in all honesty, hopefully Shang-Chi will be our Asian, big time superhero. I'm trying to really rep Filipino superhero in a real Filipino hero in Lapu Lapu. So that's what I'm grinding right now in Hollywood.
You gotta hire
I'm trying to rep for our culture, a real hero. Because fuck Magellan and colonizers.
Like,
what'd you say, Michael?
Get Hayward from WandaVision to be Magellan.
Yo, real
that'll
talk.
be like the
Punchable face.
The punchable face. Telling you.
I just forgot who I had in mind. If I could cast it right now, my man who was Apocalypse is who I have as
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. That's who I want to play. If I got the money right now, Oscar Isaac would be my Magellan.
Moon Knight,
because he needed good actor.
Apocalypse. He was Apocalypse.
You didn't watch the X-Men joint?
That was horrible.
I did, but I didn't know that was him.
That's Oscar Isaac. Bro. Yeah,
he got that Disney. Oh, I guess it's not Disney back then, but yeah, he got that big money, man. He got Star Wars. I think he's Moon Knight, right? Did they say that?
He will be in the MCU. He's Moon Knight. Yeah,
my man's doing it.
Yeah, man. If I could do my Battle Mactan, yo, and if y'all don't know the story Lapu Lapu, man, y'all gotta get that on, man.
Hey, Kuya P, if you need music, bro, you already know who to go, man.
Most definitely. Yes,
sir.
Man, yo, we went a little long, man. I appreciate y'all's time, man. I hope we can get together, do episode 2 next week and keep this love going, man. If not, man, let's definitely collab down the line. Y'all need to meet up with my man OG Moose. So let's sign off, man, because I know we're running over, man. But this is beautiful, man. I love my Kabayan, man. Y'all amazing. I hope y'all check them out. So let them know how they can reach out to y'all. Top Back Podcast, Matthew, Michael, tell them how they can reach out to y'all.
Yeah, man, dude, pitch. I always freak out. I'm like, shit, we got a pitch.
All right, so we're available on Spotify, all streaming podcast platforms. We're on there, YouTube, IG, TikTok. We're on there too. We post clips on there. And it's me and Mike. We're the Ilocano Boys, Top Back Podcast.
Hey.
Yeah, from the top of the dome.
There we go. Top Back Podcast, man. I'm tuning in. Y'all need to tune in. And you also got to tune in to my man, OG Moose, who's got to break it down. He got his new album, Nothing, on all streaming platforms. You got to copy it. I'm listening to it in my whip right now. Woo!
Hey.
OG Moose, tell him, bruh. Las Vegas in the house.
Yes, sir. OG Moose. I'm a musician from Las Vegas. You can find me on all social media, OG Moose LV. I use Twitter and Instagram mostly, holla at me. And you can find my music on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, Audio Mac, YouTube, wherever you listen to music, I am there. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Man, hey, this is beautiful, man. I love my people, man. Appreciate y'all. Top Back Podcast, OG Moose. It's your boy, Kuyapi, a.k.a. At Temple Far East and at Strange since 1977, because I'm an old head, man, since on Twitter, IG. Of course, the Nerds of Color and at New Release Wednesday and at the Nerds at the NRW. I'm sorry, Nerds Rule the World. And of course, Show Pal Show, which is you'll see a great episode coming up soon with my man OG Moose getting into his life and career and talking all about that. And of course, I got to get the Top Bag podcast talking about what they've been doing and how they put together Top Back very soon on Show Pal Show. So we'll make that happen, man. But check that out. That's just representing Filipino culture, because we've been in it, man, doing it big for years, and we're going to continue showing that love and that light. Man, this has been beautiful, man. Y'all are amazing. Falcon and Winter Soldier, dope. We can't wait for episode 2, and hopefully I'll have the squad again to break it down. Oh, and of course, my man Glenn Lawrence, Level Up Comedy. He's roasting cats right now because that's what he does. He's an amazing comedian. Check out his comedy special on Level Up Comedy. It's on the YouTube. I forgot the name of it right now, so the brother should have been here. But he's got a brand new comedy special on his YouTube. Check it out at Level Up Comedy. That's my man Glenn Lawrence. Your boy Kuya P, the squad, OG Moose, Top Back Podcast. We out of here, man.
Peace.
Boom.
Peace.
Don't wait.